Here's maybe one of the last updates on the corn, interseeded with buckwheat. Yeah, this is kind of like where it looks a lot of places. There's all this super, some of it's been dead, just in all different stages of decay, but just really stringy buckwheat that's just doing wonders for the soil. But look how many leaves and shoots this thing has lost in the process of trying to find sunlight. So how this still is able to feed nutrients back to the corn, which is doing pretty good. Got a lot of ears out here. It's late, but we planted it late. But so in the process, it's shed all of these leaves that are just super high in nitrogen, and all the other essential plant foods in perfect plant food form. They fall down onto the soil, and I mean, it just looks awesome. I should have brought a shovel out here, but there's just a really huge amount of worm poop everywhere. It's just per usual, got a lot of aggregation to it. But yeah, it looks like a mess. It kind of is. It's been working out. Basically, what happened is at the peak of the buckwheat's height, it was shading out some of the lower corn leaves, and the corn was starting to get a little stressed out. We got a little fungal disease that came in and started rust, and then I did a foliar spray of it's fish hydrosilate, molasses, and compost extract, and then some micronutrients. And micronutrients were at a really low rate, so that wasn't it. So somehow the fish and molasses mix was too strong. Caused that, I don't know. But anyways, it got through all that. I mean, it basically, when the buckwheat started falling over and losing leaves and all that, then it started bouncing back. It's crazy. It looked yellow for a little, got just a little bit yellow for like a couple days, it seemed. And then from there on, it was just like pretty full steam ahead. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the higher planting population for the corn was maybe kind of was part of the reason it got whatever the hell this is. And then that, I'm sure, is rust, so maybe it's all rust. But then I stressed it out more. Anyways, it healed back and grew some really nice ears. So that's telling me that a lot of good stuff is happening, even if you don't but crimp the buckwheat. But the thing is, like, you want to let it grow. There's so much more benefit from growing it out this long than crimping it with my little crimper when the corn's still short enough to drive over with the tractor, because you just don't get nearly as much benefit as letting it go. But yeah, I think the strategy is to try and get it to self-smother just a little bit earlier, so the corn doesn't get stressed out there, right around flowering, and can make this even better. But yeah, so I'm gonna add some mustard to the mix, so hopefully it crimps a little earlier. and then the corn will be even better looking maybe. We don't have a ton of season, and I usually plant late since organic you want to plant when it's warm out. So we can't have too many delays and too many days of unhappiness. Not that it was really that unhappy, it's just if we get the feeding started a little earlier, it'd be nice. But yeah, it looks great. Thank goodness we got another a week of 80s for highs and probably lows in the 60s, upper 50s. But yeah, planted June 9th or 10th out here, so that lucked out. You never know what you're gonna get in Minnesota, but yeah, you know what would be really awesome and perfect is a single row crimping robot. A high clearance crimper, on a high boy machine would be just ridiculous for me on my scale. But even if I had to control it myself, that'd be so cool to make something like that I could just drive remotely and it would just crimp. Put the camera kind of up here so you can tell where, or way up here so you can just drive via the tassels, or I don't know. Maybe you could drive it from looking down here, and then just crimp it down. You don't even need that much force. If you just get it laying on itself, it's not going to stand back up with this corn towering over it, and it's just going to smother itself. But yeah, like I say, just letting it grow and the leaves falling off and slowly feeding your crop works okay too. It's pretty low tech. It's pretty awesome that the plant can do that much for you. But yeah, if there was a mechanical intervention, it'd be a crimper we could send out here late in the season, like during flowering or before flowering or after flowering, depending on what you want and what cover crops you got, what growth stage they're at. You could just be really flexible and have a little crimper bot come out and crimp it down. And I think this corn would be you'd get significantly more benefit on the grain fill side. It'd be earlier, I think. Even though it looks great, I think it got just a little bit delayed right there when the buckwheat was kind of shading out some of the lower leaves. But worked out in the end. But yeah, I think some of these huge, really long ones, they don't go to the end. They're like that, but they're hell of a nice ear so far. Big suckers. Had a pretty high population, so I'll be excited to see what yield is on, probably 100 pounds or less of N in the form of pelletized turkey litter. Spread 1.25 ton to 1.5 ton of pelleted poultry litter. I think it's like a 3.5-3:1 analysis. So even if it's a 4-3:1 analysis, 1.5 tons would be 100 pounds of N. So pretty crazy. Can't wait to see what yields are, and if we can get it to dry down in time. Anyways, if you know anyone in the robot business, I could make a little remote controlled crimper, send down these rows earlier in the season. Yeah, I think that would make this system like crazy good. Yeah, but you know, at least the low clearance crimper I have, inter-row crimper, works great for beans. So if we could figure this out, it'd be pretty sweet.